On Tuesday, special counsel Robert Hur faced some questioning in front of the House Judiciary Committee over his report about President Joe Biden's handling of sensitive documents. In Hur's report, he described Biden as kind of a sad, old, incoherent man losing his memory, but ultimately not at fault for retaining these documents. In fact, he said, quote, "It would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him, by then a former president well into his 80s, of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness." The report also called Biden's memory hazy, fuzzy, faulty, and poor, and claimed that Biden could not recall when his son Beau died or when he served as vice president. So, to say that's an inflammatory report would not do it justice, okay? Way more than inflammatory, okay? Now, ahead of this hearing, transcripts from President Biden's October 8th and October 9th interviews with Hur and his team were released, and unsurprisingly, Hur left some important stuff out of his final report, which he got confronted on during this hearing. In fact, here's Representative Eric Swalwell pointing out one such omission.
I now want to turn you to the transcript and day 1, page 47. You said to President Biden, "You appear to have a photographic understanding and recall of the House." Did you say that to President Biden?
Those words do appear on page 47 of the transcript.
Photographic is what you said. Is that right?
That word does appear on page 47 of the transcript.
Never appeared in your report, though. Is that correct? The word photographic?
That does not appear in my report.
And that does not appear in my report. Why? Seems a bit conflicting, right? Saying that Biden has a photographic understanding and recall of one of his homes, but then saying, oh yeah, but he has such a hazy, fuzzy, faulty, and poor memory of so many other things, basic things. Hold on. Now, look, Joe Biden is old. I think we all know that. I think we are all quite aware that he's getting up there in age, okay? And we do know that when you get older, your memory isn't exactly 100% flawless, okay? Hell, I'm 40, and my memory is garbage, okay? But the statement in the report made Biden sound that he was senile and unfit for office. I don't think that's what's going on here. I mean, we know what that looks like. We know what dementia looks like. You can look at the late Dianne Feinstein, who should have been allowed to serve in the condition that she was in. She couldn't even remember conversations she had had with people 10 minutes prior. Kept repeating herself over and over again. Acting like the person that she was talking to, that she had just met them. I mean, it was a disaster, okay? She should not have been serving in that condition, and she died not long after, okay? But Biden's not there. He's not really all that close, okay? Now, in the report, he talks about when he was asked about a time period after his vice presidency in 2017 and 2018. And this is right from the transcript, okay? He was writing a memoir and living in Virginia. Biden had described his son as either deployed or as dying. As Hur put it, he did not remember even within several years when his son Beau died. Now, it turns out, the transcript, you read that, Hur did not ask him about this. Biden brought this up, on his own. The exchange began when Hur asked Biden where Biden kept papers related to his work at the University of Pennsylvania's Biden Center, the University of Delaware's Biden Institute, and the Cancer Moonshot Program after leaving the vice presidency. So that would be after Trump took over, okay? And he was working on the cancer program. So here's what Biden answered, again, straight from the transcript. Well, and he repeats I a couple of times, the stutter, don't know. This is what, 2017, 2018, that area. So that was in a reference to when he was working there at Penn, okay, doing all this stuff. Then he said, remember in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying, and so it was. And by the way, there were still a lot of people at that time when I got into the Senate that were encouraging me to run in this period. Except the president, I'm not, and not a mean thing to say, he just thought that I had a better shot at winning the presidency, that she had a better shot at winning the presidency than I did. So he was referring to President Barack Obama as well as Secretary Hillary Clinton. So he continues by saying, and so I hadn't at that point, even though I'm at Penn in 2017, 2018, I hadn't walked away from the idea that I may run for office again. But if I ran again, I'd be running for president. And so what was happening, though? What month did Bo die? Oh, God, May 30th of 2015, which, of course, tracks to what he was saying about the idea of running against her / Hillary Clinton, right? Now, Hillary Clinton was running for the Democratic nomination in 2015. So basically, he's saying that at the time that he was writing this, right, in 2017, 2018, writing his memoir about the time that he was running or he was considering running for the Democratic nomination for the 2016 presidential election. And he was referring to thinking about, like, well, people wanted me to run, but the Hillary Clinton. And then, of course, at the time, my son Bo was dying. So there's that, okay? And again, people were talking about having Biden run. Bo dying of cancer is what kept him out of it. So what it sounds like to me, again, is he was asked about 2017, and while he was working on his memoir, about the papers, and that's like the memoir that he was writing, and the papers, and the perfect recall, the photographic memory of the house that he was in when he was writing the memoir, and the cancer reminded him of his son, and then what he was doing when his son was dying. So yeah, he went off on a tangent, okay? He got his dates mixed up a little bit, not the month, but not the day, but the year. So that's interesting too, because you ask somebody who's lost someone close to them how many years it's been, and sometimes and there's this amazement that it's been so many years. I mean, personally, this happens to me with my sister, right? She died back in 2018, and sometimes I think, has it been that long? When did that actually happen? Like, it's been 6 years. And, it feels like maybe yesterday, or it feels like a lifetime ago. And, and that's just, I think, due to the perception of, I can't believe something this terrible happened this long ago. But anyway, that's my personal experience from it, but more from the transcript, right? So this is where he kind of mixes up some dates a bit. He said, and that's what happened in the meantime is that as Trump gets elected in November of 2017, somebody corrects him with 2016. He says 2016, all right. Why do I have 2017 in there? To which the White House counsel says that's when you left office, January of 2017. And he's like, yeah, okay, but that's when Trump gets sworn in then in January. So yeah, he's kind of mixing up the years a bit, having some incomplete thoughts. Now, I looked that up, and that's actually one of the symptoms of having a stutter. Is sometimes you just have those incomplete thoughts, and also, funny enough, related to ADHD, kind of explains why I have some incomplete thoughts once in a while. And so I think a lot of what he's pointing out is, oh, hazy, poor memory, and all that stuff, and barely fit for, not even fit for office. It really can be just explained with the stutter and the fact that, yes, you do slow down a little bit when you get older. Now, I'm not trying to be an expert here, but from what I can see, this is entirely normal and not evidence of complete and total mental deterioration to the point of being unfit for office. And so what Republicans are doing is trying to, hype that point up and to say, look at, he's falling apart before our very eyes, when in reality, no, he's just getting older. He does have that stutter, and he does have, the normal cognitive issues that come along with being more advanced in age. And it's basically been amplified into a political hatchet job with this specific report. That's not to say that there aren't, reasons to want someone younger to run for this office. I personally hoped that, we would have a younger, more progressive challenger in this primary. That didn't happen. All right. That got enough of the vote. Joe Biden is the nominee, and that's just the way it is right now. Now you have to move forward because there will be a Trump-Biden rematch in the general election. That's how it works out. And again, there's not to say that there isn't some things to worry about when people are advanced in age. But if you're worried about Joe Biden and his mental state, odds are you should probably also be worried about Donald Trump and his mental state, because he's not that much younger than Joe Biden and has shown perhaps even more, way more instability in his mental processes than Biden ever has.